bizarre North Korean versions of films. It's Chio tu Chio chu 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 Chio tu 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 tu. Let's see this.
Dubbing is a process in which a piece of media is translated into another language and voiced over with new audio in that language that matches the lip syncing of the original piece of media in order
You know how hard that has to be? Like to keep your breath according to whatever the original creator had to do. That's pretty
to create
hard,
a
I'm not
new
gonna
version of
lie.
it in that language to be enjoyed by a whole new audience. Usually, there are very rare occasions when things receive a dub of their original language. For example, Peppa Pig, which is a British show that is in English, received an American dub that just makes all the characters American. And also Paw Patrol, a Canadian.
That's only like changing a few words. Like certain words. Yeah, you're just changing a few words. It's literally just a few words.
Series has a British dub, but usually it's done to bring a piece of media to a new audience. Now, most of the time, dubs are officially licensed and done with the consent of the original company. All the dubs you'll see on like streaming services, digital storefronts, and official physical releases will be a licensed dub. However, there are sometimes illegal, unlicensed dubs made for things without the consent.
Hey. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. And I'm not talking about this current video. I'm talking about pirates. If you know, you know, gang. You know, you know, bro.
Or knowledge of the original creators. This can be done for a multitude of reasons. Sometimes it's just a fan project created purely out of passion by people who love the original work and want to show it to a new audience. This is done lots with like YouTube and internet content, since a lot of it isn't dubbed by the original creators, but also it is occasionally done with shows and movies, like the fan-made Russian Smiling Friends dub. Another
I want to see. I want to watch it because like Russian sounds funny when you don't understand it. But then the thing is, I don't understand it. That's the problem.
reason is money. If a piece of media doesn't have a dub in a certain language, or the thing is yet to officially release in that language, since, movies have different release dates.
Oh my gosh, how could I forget when I used to watch when I used to watch, back then, like when you had movies, you couldn't watch it first, like you just had to download it, and then oh my gosh, and then you get the fated Indian dub. I was like, why? Please let me know if you've gone through the same thing. The Indian dub. Oh my gosh, I hated that shit. I hated. They would get all the movies early, dub the video in Indian, and remove not in Indian. I forgot what the official language is called, and remove the English one. Why would you remove? Why not give us the option? I don't know if the options were a thing back then, but they are now. But oh my gosh, that shit will bring a tear to it will bring a tear to your eye, gang. I'm not even playing around. Because you're not gonna sit there and download that shit again.
Internationally, for
Oh
whatever
my
reason, that's an
gosh.
entire group of people who will have never seen this thing that you can sell it to, and the thing has already proven to be successful and well liked by people. Dubs like this are generally distributed on bootleg DVDs or piracy sites,
Yeah,
but in
yeah.
certain
Them bootlegs, man. I was there. Not gonna lie, I was there. Actively, actively there buying this shit.
places they are
Getting
actually shown
scammed.
on TV. These dubs are usually done by like shady companies in countries with less strictly enforced copyright laws. However, I think the most interesting unlicensed dubs come from North Korea. I'm sure everyone is aware of what North Korea is like.
Why does he walk like that?
It's a totalitarian dictatorship in which everything is controlled by the government, even things like haircuts and how you can dress. Now, obviously, this includes all media in the country. All TV shows, channels, movies, books, news, games, websites, etc. are controlled and owned by the
Oh
government.
my
This
gosh.
obviously means that access to any foreign media is banned, and if you do access foreign media, you can be punished pretty harshly.
He watches all that shit, by the way. Kim, he watches all that shit, all the foreign movies, all the. I wonder how they do it. Like, how do they handle knowing all the Western things that they know? Like, Kim Jong Un knows like a lot of the Western shit that we be watching, right? And probably does watch some of them. Like, how does he switch? I mean, I guess he doesn't interact with the general public, and probably the people who he interacts with are people who have access to that Western media as well.
Unsurprisingly. However, interestingly, some pieces of foreign media have had unlicensed dubs created by the government to be released onto DVDs in North Korea, and certain ones are occasionally shown on the state-owned channel Mansudae Television. Now, North Korean Korean is slightly different to regular Korean, given the fact that language evolves, and North Korea is so isolated and has been separated from South Korea for so long that their language hasn't really evolved. These North Korean versions are all created by the company
목난 비데오
known in English as Mokron Video, which
Let me start before I start saying slurs or
is a
something.
recording and distribution company founded back in December of 1992 by the government of North Korea, which was at the time led by Kim Il-sung. According to an archived page about Mokron Video on the
Bro,
now
look how
defunct
young
led by
these
Kim
people
Il-sung.
look.
According to
These
an
kids. It's not. I'm not even. It's not even. Look how young these are kids. These are kids. You can see it. Oh
archived
my
page
gosh.
about Mokron Video on the now defunct KMVC5.com, which was a Hong Kong based site that specialized in spreading the multimedias of the Mokron Video in Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Mokron Video is the only company that has the rights to produce, sell, and manage copyrights for North Korean documentary films, science films, art films, children's films, TV
oh my
compilations, stage
gosh.
compilations, and music. They have produced many unlicensed dubs of foreign films from companies like Disney, Illumination, and DreamWorks, along with also releasing subtitled versions of some films that retain the original audio and just have Korean subtitles on the bottom. I'm not entirely sure why some are dubbed and some are only subtitled.
I can tell you why, because a lot of them don't show things that are against whatever's going on in their country. If you look at the patterns that were going on, it's all kids movies. Like all the shit just to distract the kids, maybe sometimes improve morale and all those things. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think here. Trying to use this noggin. You see this? Not shining for a reason.
Usually when things are translated into Korean, a lot of the time kids media receives its own Korean dub, and things made for adults just have subtitles, because, you know, kids don't really want to read subtitles. Obviously not all the time, sometimes things for adults are dubbed, but pretty much all kids media gets dubbed in Korean. However here, films like Shrek, Moana, and Ratatouille are dubbed, but films like Despicable Me, Finding Nemo, and The Incredibles just have subtitles. So, not really sure why. The way these films are distributed is via DVD, and there is a video by Korean Central News Agency, which is
When was the last time y'all ever bought a DVD? I wanna buy a DVD player actually, and because there's still a lot of stores in not in my area actually, but not far from my area that still sells some DVDs and low key want to like get a collection, but at the same time, I could just buy a hard drive and you know what I'm saying, you know where I'm going? If you know, you know, okay, you know.
is the state news agency of North Korea that has been reposted to YouTube by user KNCA Uploader, which showcases the process in which the DVDs are created. It shows the factory, where we see someone on a computer using a program that I think is called Image Copy. The video is only in 360p, so it's hard to make out, but I think that's what it says. Then it shows the same person using this big machine and going through the process of creating a master copy of a disc, which they then take down to this room full of big machines where all the DVDs are produced, so they can make multiple copies. Then a label is
Damn.
printed and boom, the discs are done. Cool. The process of actually making a DVD is unsurprisingly the same in North Korea as it is everywhere else. However, the way they are sold
Because they
is
just
quite interesting.
they just bought the machines. They just buy the machines, bro. I wonder what tech they have that we don't think they have, but they actually do. Because we be hearing about them hacking and all this shit. Wait, let's see this collection real quick. What can we make out? I see a lot of like, okay, I don't know. I don't know. Some things look like it's a princess themed thing. I not gonna lie, I don't know what I'm looking at. Can't see clearly.
You can't just buy these in any regular old store.
Oh, it's Tarzan.
store like you can, or I guess could, not so much now, elsewhere. They are sold in these special stands that were set up in various locations around North Korea by the state and only sell DVDs. As of 2012, there were 50 of these stands in Pyongyang. One of these stalls can be seen briefly in this video, seemingly having the Mokran Video logo on it. But again, the video is in 360p, so. They also interview the woman working at the stall, who is called Ri Eun Hyang. And interestingly, we can see a bunch of movies behind her. Because of the video's quality, it is impossible to actually make out
You see, I'm ahead of the game, bro. I tried to do all of this. Like, you can't make out shit here.
what any of them are. but
Like, this is Tarzan, I think. This one. Not too sure.
still, there's actually another higher quality YouTube video showcasing one of these stalls from the channel Jacka Parker, called Buy Disney DVD in Pyongyang.
Lion King, Tom and Jerry. Hey, I know North Korea is bad, but shout out them for having good taste, bro. Because they could have introduced anything. Tom and Jerry, that's a classic right there. Simba tells a great story. Shout out them. Now, nowadays, all we got is Tung Tung Sahur, all these brainwash shit. They probably don't even they don't even bring that shit over. Oh my gosh. Are North Koreans one of the only countries that don't have brain rot shit? I just thought about that shit like right now. Are they one of the few countries that don't like have that shit? Obviously, they have a different form of, they're brainwashed, but they don't have brain rot. Oh my god, crazy!
In Pyongyang, North Korea. In the video, a person visits one of these stalls to buy a DVD, and
Winnie the Pooh. You
we see
have
it from
Kim
a
Impossible. Is
first-person
that Kim
perspective.
Impossible or was that?
Interestingly, you can't just access the DVDs
Oh,
like
see.
a normal stall, where you'd pick something up and just be like, can I buy this? Instead, they're all inside, and you could only look at them through the glass, with the guy in the video having to ask to have a look
I doubt somebody's gonna steal that shit. That crime, boy, you stealing in North Korea? You're just asking to die. You must be, you know what I'm saying? You must want to not exist anymore.
at a selection. The packaging of these North Korean DVDs differs from that of other places,
100
since they don't come in the
Dalmatians.
regular hard plastic case you'd expect, and instead are in these sleeves. Now, what's
Hey, I got the same sleeves as well. Hey, back then I got the same sleeves as well. I was just white. It was just pure white sleeves. That's what we had. But hey, let's see. What's up, twin?
interesting is that some of these discs appear to contain multiple movies, since they seem to have pictures from multiple movies and list multiple titles.
That's fire. That's actually fire. You're getting a lot for your money. That's actually fire. Still in a tragic, country, but still fire that they're
Now,
able
I
to
don't
get
know if
access
this
to
is
this.
actually the case, since I don't speak Korean, and information on these is pretty scarce, given the nature of the country. However, I did find a North Korean copy of Snow White that directly has the Lion King after it also, so from what I can see, that appears to be the case. The prices of these movies apparently range from 4,500 North Korean won to 10,000 North Korean won, which is the equivalent of £3.73 to £8.28 in British pounds, or $5 to $11.11 in
And you're like, that's mad high. That is mad high. For North Korea, that's mad high prices, bro. No wonder they get a 3 for 1 every time they buy one thing. Also, fuck this guy, by the way. Fuck him. Not the creator.
US
To all
dollars,
those who
which
are
seems
lost.
fairly cheap to be honest, especially if there's multiple movies. But it should also be noted that most North Koreans live in poverty and
Yeah,
are
I was
literally
gonna
starving
say.
from being unable to afford food. In 2020, it was estimated 60% of North Koreans lived below the poverty line, so these movies would be a luxury item. So, what is a North Korean dub like then? Well, let's take a look at some, starting with Shrek. Interestingly, all 4 Shrek films have been released in North Korea, with the first one being referred to as Shrek Part 1 instead of just Shrek. The DreamWorks logo has been
Must
removed
have
here,
really loved Shrek to release all of them. They must have
and
really
it's
loved it.
labelled as a foreign cartoon movie, not stating who specifically made it or which country it's from. The iconic opening scene has been changed also. They cut out all the scenes showcasing the names of the original cast, and also
Yo, they're moving like some YouTube reaction creators, bro. They will be like, yo, he said, your ass is not getting any credit, Trent. We're not crediting nobody.
Change the music to this, which, if you're curious, is opening traveler music from the soundtrack of Ice Age. No clue why this song specifically was chosen, but they probably replaced the music due to the fact they were cutting scenes and leaving the original audio would sound odd since random parts would be noticeably cut. Also, I've been showing footage like this for your viewing pleasure, but the original looks like this. Weirdly, the entire thing is in 4:3 for some reason, with the Mokran video logo in the top left the whole time. Also, all songs remain in English, simply having Korean subtitles, including the song sang by this guy. Some other parts also retain the original English audio, like when Lord Farquaad screams here. Also, as you might have guessed, the credits of the film were cut too. Now, the Shrek movies are notable for their many references placed throughout the films. References that no North Korean citizen will understand since it's a reference to something they will have never seen. So obviously, some parts were changed, and just a disclaimer, I don't speak Korean, and so I watch these with auto-generated Korean subtitles translated into English, which might possibly be the worst way to watch Shrek ever, probably even worse than the GBA version. But here are some interesting examples.
You know, I made a Shrek movie thing, but inside, like, you know that Nintendo drawing game? I did that shit once.
Changed parts from the franchise.
Why? I don't know,
line
but I
from
did.
Shrek 1 after Lord Farquaad is killed.
Celebrity marriages, they never last, do they?
Was changed to a wedding with calculation at the forefront. It always ends like this, since there's like not really North Korean celebrities. And in Shrek 2, a shot where Prince Charles...
They don't have celebrities? So the only influential person is literally him. That is crazy. Even Russia has celebrities. Granted, they're paid off essentially, but they have influences as well. Wow.
Is shown on the fairy godmother's mirror during the scene she meets Fiona is cut. Now, the Shrek franchise is set in a fictional place, and so the location didn't have to be censored in any way. However, there are other films released in North Korea not set in fictional places. One notable example is Disney's 2008 movie Bolt. This is notable as Bolt follows a dog who has to travel across America, and North Korea doesn't really like America all that much. And so, when the film released in North Korea in 2012, all mentions of America or any place in America were cut. For example, this sign that says West Springfield and North Chicago only displays the text North and West in Korean. The Welcome to Missouri sign is just left blank, which looks odd, and this...
Damn. How are they editing these movies? Are they editing like the frame, like frame by frame, or what is going on?
saying New York, New York was just blurred out, which looks even odder. And these signs, when Bolt arrives in New York, were also left blank, just to name a few. Now,
one of the things like you would ask yourself, like, do they not realize like that shit is weird to them? And then you have to remember the average North Korean probably doesn't even know about the existence of like New York or all those things. So they wouldn't question why it was. They'll probably be like, oh, the government is, I don't even know. You can't even place yourself in the shoes of North Koreans. You just can't.
Credit where credit is due to North Korea. The dubbing here is actually pretty good, and the lip syncing matches most of the time. You know, it's not the worst dub in the world. But to finish off the video, I'm going to tell you every film currently translated by Mokran Video. Firstly, the ones that were worthy enough of receiving their very own dub. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Okay, good picks.
Which appears to be on the same disc as The Lion King for some reason, as they play directly after each other. The Korean text translated on the disc lists both The Lion King and Snow White, along with Alice in Wonderland, which isn't...
Let's rank them real quick. Now we'll rank them as they go.
Actually present, at least in this version I found. All 4 Shrek movies, 101 Dalmatians 1 and 2, Bolt, Cinderella 1, 2 and 3, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Ratatouille, Frozen 1 and 2, Over the Hedge, Raya and the Lost Dragon.
I love this movie. Over the Hedge, I love it.
Frozen
I like
1
it.
And
And
2, Over the
Ratatouille.
Hedge, Raya and the Lost Dragon.
I haven't watched that one. Moana, good
Moana,
pick.
the 2016 movie.
Ballerina, never watched it, so I can't say.
Ballerina, also known as Leap in the USA. Kung Fu
Yeah, I
Panda
don't
2
know.
and 3.
Good pick.
Presumably also the first one, however, that has never surfaced anywhere. Animal Crackers, which is a movie that released on Netflix in 2020.
I don't know
Encanto,
it.
How to Train Your Dragon 2 and 3.
Good
Again,
pick. Good
presumably also
pick.
the first, but it hasn't surfaced anywhere. Inside Out, The Lion King 2, and
На острие.
which is a Russian
Don't know what
sports
it is.
drama released in 2020. There's also probably more that we don't know of. Then the subtitled only releases that retain their original audio, which are The Lorax, The Incredibles,
picks,
Aladdin,
good pick.
Despicable Me 1 and 2,
Yeah.
Happy Feet, Shark Tale,
Yeah.
Zootopia, Frozen 1 and 2, which I know I listed as
Hey,
dub,
bro. Whoever's picking this shit knows good
but
quality
strangely
films.
it was seemingly released both ways.
Either they're just
Tangled,
looking at the
Oprah seasons
numbers
1 through
of
3,
things
Finding
being
Nemo,
popular,
Up, Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure,
or
Barbie and the Pink
I
Shoes,
don't know.
and 1996's live action Romeo and Juliet. Again, there's probably more we don't
Good
know
pick.
about.
Honestly,
Also, in
good
that video
picks.
from earlier, some films seen not listed here are The Little Mermaid, Robin Hood, Beauty and the Beast, Tarzan, something Winnie the Pooh related, something Droopy Dog related, and also Tom and Jerry, which is
Bro, absolute good picks. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're actually good picks. You can't even argue about that. They're actually good picks. Very entertaining, not only for kids but adults as well. Yeah. Nah. Shout out to Masundai. What is it? Masundai. Yeah, missed up.
is known to have aired on Mansudae television. And that concludes the video about bizarre North Korean versions of films. This was very hard to research.
Hey, that was tough. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, it's very hard to put yourself in the shoes of North Koreans. Like, you can't even imagine what a life for an average North Korean is like. You simply can't. It's Chio 2. I'm out of here.